Good morning and welcome to Morning Coach. Today, I am so glad you're with us. Hey, it's JB. Super pumped you're here today as we get ready to go this August 4th, 2025. Excited that you're with me. It is a new month, basically, coming through the weekend. And now we get into August as a due month. Last month is kind of looking at things a little bit, but we're really getting into this month of getting back at it. Like the summer is kind of fading. We're moving into the fall. And this is our time to start getting things in motion. We got August, September, October, November. Those are really big months for us. A lot of production in those months. And then we come into December where we start planning again, closing out the year and getting ready to make 2026 amazing. It is moving fast, as you know, and, we're going to start enjoying this process. But as it moves fast, let's get some things accomplished, right? We're already in August, pretty crazy. So we're going to have a really good August, September, October, and I want to help you have a great 90-day game plan to make this happen. And we do that through the things we're doing here at Morning Coach. So a couple due months here. Let's get active and get after it. Our theme for the month is confidence, assertiveness, optimism, positivity, happiness, and validation. We're going to have a lot of fun this month. And this week, we're talking about positivity and optimism and why they're so important. So today, we're going to talk about positivity and optimism. You're going to love that. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about our book study, which is awareness, which is Anthony DeMello is a Jesuit priest, really deep, intense book. This book mixes Christian spirituality, Buddhist parables, Hindu breathing exercises, and psychological insight. Had a lot of fun with this book, and I think you are too. We'll talk about it in depth tomorrow. On Wednesday, we've got, but I'll never be an NBA star. We're going to talk about what does a positive attitude have to do with things that you're not going to be able to accomplish, and we're going to have fun on that. Thursday, we got Ask JB, why do people become apathetic? Why do people become apathetic? And then Friday, pushing finances away. Are we pushing money away from us? This is a deep day. It's going to be a prosperity and abundance day. Obviously, Saturday, we got Dr. Paul with longevity. And then Sunday, we've got life questions and having deep ideas and thoughts and dealing with psychological time. So we got a big week planned of coaching and energy here as always. And as a reminder, we want to do our morning ritual, take time for self-care, listen to the CoachCast, get that CoachCast going. Organize your day, right? Whatever that is with our planning system, with the companion, whether you're using paper and pencil, whatever it is you're using, make sure you get that organization together with what your 7 Ps. And those 7 Ps are to have proper perspective, set the daily priorities, and you set those priorities based on what? Your mission and your vision. Focus on improved performance. Always have patience. Keep great posture. Stay present and persist. That's what it's all about, okay? So let's get at it. It's a brand new week, brand new month here at Morning Coach, and we're going to rock. Today, we're kicking things off by organizing our mindset around one powerful idea, and that's to focus on the positive. Let's find ways to lean into optimism strategically, not blindly. And, it's pretty crazy. There's been many times that I've thought about giving up on Morning Coach. Subscriber numbers have dropped, projects have stalled. I was hyper-focused on what wasn't working. Then I did one small thing. I made a list of 3 things that were working. That alone changed the entire trajectory of the business, and it wasn't magic. It was focus. The focus is the ignition switch of optimism. And really, it's the creative ability to change the way that you perceive things that are happening. It's really insane. Like, if I look at my past 20 years, there's years where I was absolutely miserable. And the reason that I was miserable is I was kind of negative and I wanted more and I thought the business should be growing faster. And I was living this great lifestyle, but I couldn't even recognize it, right? I was moving so fast. And I've told you that before, that one of my biggest issues was this movement, trying to accumulate so many things and just slowing down instead of slowing down and appreciating what I have. And so every day, it's just like Morning Coach. I want to wake up and think, be thankful for what you have. And start there. Focus on what you have instead of what you don't have. And that alone will start to shift the positivity. So we have to realize that there is a negativity bias. The brain is wired to spot what's wrong. And so when we're living our life, a lot of times we're looking for the things that are negative. Friday, we're going to get into this, how if you're used to not having money, like you're struggling and kind of things are tight, you're going to find ways to keep yourself there. It's the comfort zone that we live in. We get comfortable where we are. And a lot of times we get comfortable in the negativity. Golf is a great example of this. I learned a lot about myself and the way that my self-talk was with golf. Wednesday, we're going to get a little bit into this idea of apathy and how people, become apathetic and they kind of give up. But my brain, my makeup is, and I really saw this in golf, is like when things got tough, it's like, okay, let me just go on to the next thing. And I've done that with a lot of stuff in my life. And so I've had to step back and slow way down to realize when I see the negative, it's not about quitting. It's not about being apathetic. It's about shifting and moving maybe a little bit of a different direction. Don't make a mountain out of a molehill. So the brain it's wired to spot what's wrong, but if you don't train it otherwise, it will dominate your perception and mood. And we all know those people. They just walk around negative. Nothing is great. Nothing is good. Everything is bad. We all know those people. And it's why I have such a hard time with the general population, is because I don't want to be around that. Like, I don't want to be around people that just are totally in this victim mindset. I want to be around people that are moving forward, realizing that, hey, we all have issues. We've all come from different places, and that we're able to kind of push through it. Now, are there people that are listening that are in different situations? Yes. But if you're listening to this, more than likely you have the resources and ability to make the changes in your life that you need to make, right? If you're in the middle of the jungle in Colombia and you're working on a farm and you don't have the ability to even get internet and you don't have the ability to get education, yeah, right? But if you have the ability to hear this and you and people have the ability to access the internet and you have good food and you have good water and you have shelter, you have the ability to change. But if you focus on the negative all the time and you watch the news and you get in the drama, you're never able to get out of that. And so we've got to understand that it's not about this, your glasses are, wearing the red glasses or rosy glasses, they say, right? That you're just all of a sudden being myopic. No, it's about being truly optimistic and looking at the way that you have to live your life. Waking up and going, wow, here's the perception or the perspective. I have the ability to change. I have the ability to enjoy this life. I have the ability to do things. That's an attitude. It's an attitude adjustment. And we're going to get into it with Anthony DeMello's awareness. It's about being aware of that attitude. Most people aren't aware. You don't even want to be around them, right? Sir calls them drainers. And you may be a drainer. You may be draining other people. And that's what I found. Like, I found in my life, I didn't realize I got to be positive so much that a lot of times that yin or the yang comes in and the negativity comes out, and I don't even realize it. Like, I can devastate people with my words, and I have to be very cautious because words are spells. And if I'm in a negative mood or if I'm not on, and believe me, I'll tell you exactly how I feel. I got to be a little careful of that. That's an awareness issue. Okay. So why optimism isn't naive? It's strategic. It isn't being naive. It's strategic because positivity fuels energy, creativity, and resilience. It gives you that ability to move forward. There's nothing worse when you're working on a project and you're negative about it, right? You ever been at work and a group of people are doing stuff and you have a group of people that are just negative? That is no fun, right? It just doesn't fuel the energy. And it's not about denying problems. It's about not being consumed by them. And that's what's really important. It's not denying that we don't have issues. There are issues out there. The key is that we're not being consumed by them. We're not being overwhelmed. And that's what happens with negativity a lot of times. And again, when we do our planning in December, which is coming up, right, we want to do more things that bring energy and do less things that take energy. And if you find yourself just wore out at the end of the day, you're doing too many things that take energy. And you're not finding those fulfilling things that bring love to you. Like, I've been evaluating, did a quick check in July. And so I've added a project, which I'll release little by little here, that just drives me. It's just so much fun, but it's an anonymous thing that I'm doing that just brought energy into my life. And so you've got to find things that you can do that bring energy so you can stay positive. That's why with ILD, I always talk about ILD in the framework of if somebody has a job they hate, it's like, well, be working on something on the side because that way you've got some hope. People that just are like, oh, I'm a doctor, this is my career, I'm going to do this the rest of my life, and they don't enjoy it, that's like a death sentence, right? It's just a horrible place to be. But if you're like, hey, I'm a doctor and I like to write books and I'm writing a fantasy fiction horror series that I wanted to do as a child, now all of a sudden you've got a creative outlet. And it's important we have some of those, okay? So how do we focus on positivity and organize your week? Well, one is set a positive filter each morning. One good thing from yesterday, one thing you're excited about today. That's one of the things we do here at Morning Coach is remind you about the perspective. You can have great things happen. And you know what? If you're not prepared, like this is what always bothers me. This is why we're getting into Anthony DeMello's work, awareness. If you're not prepared when an opportunity comes, you miss it. And they're coming all the time. And you could just be in the wrong mood. You could have the wrong attitude. Maybe your hormones are off. Maybe you didn't have your cup of coffee in the morning, or maybe you're like me, you're getting off caffeine, whatever it is. And you could miss that opportunity. When we talk about Selena, a couple months ago, which I've actually joined her mastermind. I love her to death. But when we talk about her with rich relationships, it's like you're only one relationship away from your whole life changing, right? That you could meet somebody and they could totally change your life. Well, if you're not in the right mood, if you don't have the right attitude, the right outlook, and you meet that person, it could throw everything off. Dan Martell's a good friend of mine. Dan said, hey, I got a guy for you to meet, Thomas. And he goes, you need to meet this guy. He's got some really cool things in Colombia. He's got 90 millionaires in a group, and they rock and roll. And he goes, you should get on a Zoom call with him. And typically I would say no. I don't want to talk to people. Like, I'm so busy with the companion things I'm building, working here to make the team stronger, bringing people on, getting them trained, making things work so we can get ready for our launch. And I said, yeah, I'll talk to him. And boy, did we have a great conversation. 25 years old, built this wonderful group. It led to me now at the end of September going down outside Santa Marta. Now, this is what's crazy. You've heard me talk about Tyrona Park, one of my favorite places in the world. I haven't been there in years. Well, guess what? This guy's putting a retreat on outside of this wonderful resort for 90 people, wants me to be a speaker, flying me down there, having me speak to this group 4 days. Pilar gets to come. And if I was in a bad mood, right, and I get to go to one of my favorite places in the world in Colombia, if I was in a bad mood, I would have missed out on that opportunity. I'd say, nah, I don't want to get with this guy. But not only that, I get to spend 4 days with these amazing people, speak to them, talk to them, help them. And not only that, you're always one relationship away. There's a whole group of 90 plus people plus speakers that I get to meet and interact. We're going to be doing meditation. We're going to the ocean. We're going to the echo out in the mountains and doing some amazing things. But how could I have lost that if I wouldn't have had the right attitude? Right? So set that positive filter. You don't know who you're going to meet or what's going to happen that literally can change your life or create abundance in your life. I know for a fact that I need to go. Like, I don't talk about Pilar much, but we need a vacation together. So this works out great. I get to speak. It's not costing us anything. They're paying me to come in. I'm making money, and I get to be with amazing people at this amazing resort. Right? So it's awesome. And where'd it come from? Being optimistic and positive. Being optimistic and positive. So you got to look at what's happening in your life and review your wins. It's really important. Review your wins last week from diving into tasks. Review those wins. Look at what's going on. I guarantee you've got some things. Let's outweigh the negative with the positive. Set your intention for how you want to feel this week, not just what you want to do. It's really important. Okay, so let's get this organized. Review your 6 key projects that you're working on. Remember, you should have 6 if you're using our system. Are they energizing you or draining you? If one feels off, can you reframe it or replace it with something more positive? I don't often do this, but it's like if you're just totally energetically burned out, let's bring some new projects in. Okay, if you're using the companion, then Monday is the time to organize the week. Right? So if you're using our planner or the companion, organize it and label one project as your optimism anchor, something you want to work on, not just need to, right? Let's find that energy. This is all about energy. I'm telling you, it will change when you get the energy going in a different direction. Your homework this week is to write down 3 things that are working in your life or business right now. Let's keep it simple. Write down 3 things that are working in your life or in your business right now. We call that a rose, right? Write down 3 roses. Choose one area where you're overly negative and shift the lens. Find one positive thing in it. Really important. Choose one area and then create a positivity folder. in your companion or your notes, quotes, wins, or compliments, and then revisit it weekly. Start seeing the positive. Relationships get destroyed because all of a sudden we start seeing the negative over the positive. This is life-changing stuff if you're able to apply it. Your journal prompt: what's one thing I've been overly negative about, and how can I shift my perspective this week? Our quote of the day: you cannot have a positive life and a negative mind, by Joyce Meyer. Think about that. You cannot have a positive life and a negative mind. And the thought of the day: positivity isn't ignoring the storm, it's learning how to dance in the rain. I love that. Positivity isn't ignoring the storm, it's learning how to dance in the rain. Let's dance this week. Let's dance today. And let's get organized and get after it. All right? So lots of love to you on this Monday to get started. And tomorrow we'll be back with our book study. It's a good one. Anthony DeMello, Awareness. It's a metaphysical, conceptual book. This is more of a spiritual journey in this book. And I just wanted to bring it because it's time for a little change up in our book study. And this is a deep, deep, deep book. It can rub you wrong in some areas because you got to kind of look and be aware of why you're doing what you're doing. But today, let's go enjoy it. And remember your homework. Write down 3 roses today, okay? Write down 3 roses, things that are going pretty good, and accentuate that positive. All right, I'll talk to you tomorrow right here on MorningCoach.com.